Margaret's mink and leather coat transformed into a teddy bear, a bunny, and a pillow. Margaret wanted to preserve her coat and make 3 items from the coat. She wanted a bear, a bunny, and a pillow, and they would be given out to family members. The coat, at first glance, looks like it's in pretty good condition, but as we take a closer look at the coat, we find out that it is damaged in multiple places. Whether it's dried out, ripped, torn, it was a problematic project to begin with. Here the collar area really is in the worst condition, and you can see it's just torn everywhere. Once I discovered what the coat actually looked like, I made a video to the customer describing what was going on with her coat, even though she did say that it was in rough condition. In order to be able to do anything with this coat, it needed special attention. One, the coat was very, very musty and needed a deodorizer to help remove some of the musty smell. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to work with it. The second thing I did was I used a softening agent called fat liquor, and it is a mixture of different types of oils that you rub into the skin side of the fur to help bring moisture. Now here I'm pulling the sleeve out, and I was really kind of nervous doing that. As you can see, it's torn in multiple places. This made me really, really nervous when I was pulling it out. But the other thing that we can also do with this fur is use something called cold cloth, and cold cloth is a very thin fabric with an adhesive on the backing. So I'll show you how I did those things later on in the video. Here I'm just removing the pockets and eventually taking the collar area off, and the collar area was truly one of the worst areas of the coat. Very dried out. No matter what I did with that particular part of the coat, I could not use it at all. It was just crumbling and falling apart. I'm also going to be removing the leather portions as well, because I'm going to be using them in the pillow and on parts of the teddy bear and the bunny. Here's the collar area that I was talking about. It was just very difficult to work with. Once everything was cut out, I was able to put the pieces down. I cut out each individual shape of the bunny and the teddy, and the bigger portion right here is going to be part of the pillow. Here are the leather pieces that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to show you how I put it all together. As stated prior, this fur is not in good condition. It's very thin. It pulls apart. There are lots of places that I had to do manual repairs. So because the customer wanted a teddy bear, I'm going to use cold cloth to help support the fur, as well as using a layer of muslin. So I'm going to take my cold cloth and I'm going to open it up, pull a little bit out. It's tacky. It is a fabric that will help support the fur. I'm going to take this piece of fur and I'm going to lay it right on top of the cold cloth. I'm going to push it down, and I'm going to cut the excess off. cold cloth is very sticky because it has an adhesive on one side. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my 2 templates and I'm going to use my glue stick, and it's a washable glue stick. It's Elmer's. I like the colored one so I could see where I actually put the glue, and it will dry clear, and always paying attention to the direction of the fur. This fur is going down, and I know that this is the top of my piece and this is the bottom. So I'm going to do the same with the opposite side, because the next step in making my bear is to attach the arms to the armhole. And I'm going to make sure that there's enough fur underneath. So now not only is the fur supported from the cold cloth, but it's also supported with an additional fabric of muslin. From here, I'm going to take my scissors and I am going to cut all the way around until I have a nice clean edge. And when I do, I'm also going to gently remove some of the fur on the sides because I don't want it flying everywhere. I do the cut directly over the garbage can, so this way any of the pieces will fall right into the can. These pieces that I'm cutting off are not usable, so they'll just be discarded. And I'm just going to gently pull some of that fur off because I don't want it flying all over. These are serrated scissors. These are excellent for cutting. They're made by Karen K. Buckley, and I use them in my quilting all the time. But for this particular kind of project, it's great because not only does it grab the fur, but it also grabs all the layers. And this scissor also does really well with the adhesive that's on the cold cloth. So there's the piece, nice and cut. And I'm going to do the same for the opposite. Okay, so now we have 2 armholes cut and complete, and they're ready to go on the main body. I have to be really careful cutting this because the fur is so delicate that it just splits open. So I'm going to inspect it to make sure that everything is inside. And I'm also going to inspect the fur to make sure that there are no rips, tears, or separations. And then once again, I'm going to use the cold cloth to help support the fur and the stitches. So this is the next armhole that has to be done. And as you can see, there are lots of clips all the way around. So this is going to be another one of those that I'm going to hand sew some of the stitches on, just to make sure that it doesn't shift when I go to sew it. And here I am stuffing the bear. I'm using polyfill as the stuffing, starting down at the bottom of the feet, and then once the legs are done, then I move to the arms, to the head, and then finally the body and back portion. One of the hardest things to do is once you've made all the parts for the bear, you have to turn it inside out. And that is the most difficult part of this particular project, because the fur is so delicate that as I was pulling the pieces out, I was just terrified that I would also rip some of the fur. And once he's all stuffed, I sew up the back, and then he's done. And here is the bunny and the bear and the 14-inch pillow with the back, which is the leather from the original coat, the ears and the feet on the bear, and the buttons are all from the coat. And here's the leather foot. The tie that I have around and the button are all from the lining. Again, the same with the bunny. Lining and the button with the leather ears and the leather feet. Safety eyes and noses were used in both the bunny and the teddy bear. It's really important to note that these items are cute and children are going to want to play with them, but because they are so delicate, because they are so old and were not in the greatest shape, it wouldn't be recommended that these would be played with by children. But they are absolutely cute. Come visit us at dinahsquilts.com.